What's up, fellow developers? Today we'll look into creating a design for a kids education portal. So let's get started. First, we'll try and create this page, breaking down this into separate parts. We have a row which will have these two text, and then an image. Then we'll have a set of text to be added and a small button. So before we start, I've got the images and font, so I'll try and import this now. Okay, in popspec.yaml, let us add those images. And then we'll add these fonts. Okay, I'll add the second font. Okay, now let us create a new file which will save all the color schemes. I'll name it as color scheme. Let us import material.dart and then let us define the colors. Okay, now we'll import the color scheme dart file in our main document. Okay. Now we have an empty document. I'll get rid of the unwanted codes. Now we have an empty document. I'll remove the debug tag here. Okay, now in stateful widget, let's create a scaffold first, and then we'll give this a background color of light blue, which we have saved it in the color scheme here. Now, looking at the design, we need a row, so let us create a row first. In body, let's have a safe area, so it does not render anything outside the safe area. Now inside safe area, let's create a complete child, a complete column widget in which we'll have different rows. So child, column, and then in children we will write a container first, which would contain both the text gokids.com and skip. In container, let's have a little padding on the sides, so edge insets.all. Now let's have a symmetric. Let's have a horizontal padding of 20. Now as a child, I'll add a row. In children, I'll add a text gokids.com. Okay, now let's style that. Text style, font size to be 14. Let's give it a font weight of probably 500, and then let's have the font family as Cersei. Okay, that looks good. Now we'll add another text for the skip. Now we'll add skip, and then now let us add a alignment tag, a space between. Now that part is set. Now we'll try and import this image. Now below the row column, let's create a small space. So I'll add a sized box of height probably 30. And now let us add a container. It has to have the width as of the device, so I'll write media query.of context.size.width, and then let's say this image would occupy around 40% of the whole screen. So let's say height to be media query.of context.size.height into 0.4. Okay, now we have an empty container. I'll write a decoration as box decoration, and then image, decoration image, asset image. Now we'll import asset slash. I have it here as splash png. I'll copy this path. Okay, now let's see. Good. Just to make sure that it fits the container, let's add a fit tag. Contain. Okay, and now we'll create this text and this button here. For that, let us probably have an expanded column with a container. So let us try and add an expanded column below this container. Expanded. Now this child will have a column, children. Now see, all these are evenly spaced, so let's add a alignment of evenly spaced. Space evenly. Now let us add a text here. Let's see what happens. Okay, and then let's style this. I'll give it a size of 12, and font family to be Cersei. Okay, that looks good. Now we'll have another text that says distance learning and homeschooling part. Okay, now this has to be bigger, and let's add a font weight of probably 700. Okay, and now it needs to be aligned center, so I'll give it an alignment of center. Now that looks good. Now we have to add this text area, so let's add that. And then we'll probably make this a little bit bigger. Okay, and let us give it a font weight of 300. Nice. Now I'll also give it a center align. Now that looks good. And then now we'll have to create this button. We'll have an icon, and then over here we'll add a border with a black color, or probably with some opacity. So for that, let us create a center widget, and then I'll give it a container as a child. Let us add a box decoration, and then shape as circle. Now we'll need a border for this. Border.all. We'll give this a width of 15 and color to be black with some opacity, probably 0.1. I think that should work. Okay, I get this thing. Now we'll add a child to this container. Child will again be a container. We'll give this a padding of around 5. Again the shape will be circle, and then the color should be dark blue as specified in the color scheme document. Okay, now if we add a child to this container as the icon, button, let's give this an on pressed for now. Let us add that later. And then we'll have an icon, arrow forward. Okay, that looks good. Now we'll have the color to be white. So, good. Now on this buttons click, we'll navigate to the next page. So we'll write a function, open home page, navigator dot home page, and then we'll add the root here, route, home page, context, home page. Now let us create a new document named home page. Let us import material. Now let's create a stateless widget home page and save this. Let us import the home page document, and then on pressed we'll add open home page. Okay, good. So now this has been navigated to the home page. So this is going to be our home page. Dividing this into different parts, we can understand that this part is a scaffold app bar where we'll have a menu icon and a notification icon, and this part will be a stack which will have a image here, and then the search bar with a text field and a text here saying hello John Scott or whatever the name here, and then we'll have a big column which will have different teachers widget. So let us first create a scaffold. Material app. Now I'll write it as home page. Let's create a stateful widget as home page, and then let's create a scaffold. Now here we again need the background color to be light blue, so let us import color schemes. Now I can access light blue color. Good. See, and let us get rid of the debug tag. Good. Now we need an app bar. Its background color is going to be, no, first let us create this app bar so I can show you. See, the background color becomes blue. I don't want that background color, so let's get rid of that color. Let us use transparent. So the color is gone. Now you can see a gray color border, a gray color shadow. That is because its elevation is high, so I'll write the elevation as 0. Now I can get rid of those colors. Now the first icon is always called as the leading, and in leading I'll create an icon button. Menu. Now okay, I want it to be black in color, and let us probably keep a size of 30. Okay, now we need an icon on the right side for the notification, so that comes under the actions tag. Now in actions I again have an icon button. Okay, now again its color should be black and size again 30. Okay, so that part is good. Now we'll create this area first. For that we'll have a big column which will hold all the other parts of the UI. Let's create a body which will have a column, and then in children let's first create a container. Its height should be probably around 30% of the total screen. So let's create media query of context.size height to 0.3, and width should be full So again, media query dot of context dot size dot width. Now we need to import the globe image, globe and the bear image first. So I'll create a decoration image, decoration image, again image, asset image, asset slash images. Okay. Now once this is done, we also have to know that the app bar has taken a little bit of space here, and if I don't want that to happen, um, okay, in container let's add a child that should hold the search bar and give it a padding of 20 on all sides, and child column. Now this container will hold both the name and the search bar. So let's say the first content here should be hello. Let's style that. You can see this hello here, size 16 and font family. Okay. Now we need to get the name displayed here. It's going to be again a text widget. It needs to be of a bigger size. Okay, and let's add a font weight also. I'll keep it at 700. Okay, now that looks good. Now we'll have an expanded widget till this part. That is for the when I create the search bar, I want the search bar to be added here, so I can move this up. I just added an empty expanded widget. And then let's add a container of height 70. That's going to be the size of the search bar. Box decoration. Let's add a border radius of 20, and then let's give it a color as white. Okay, now that looks good. Now we need to add the icon here and a hint text. So for that I'll give it as a child, a row, and then children. In the children, the first child can be an icon button. Search. Okay, now I want this to be a little bit bigger and of color black, so I'll give it a size of 30. Okay, now that looks good. Now again I want the search text area to be expanded till here, so I'll probably give it an expanded widget, and then we'll have a text field. Let's style that. Font size can be 18, and font family again is Cersei. Let's see if that works. Okay, it works, and let's give it a decoration. Input decoration. I want to get rid of this border, so I'll give it as input border dot none, and we need to have a hint text which says search for courses or tutors. Okay, now we have this empty space here, so we need to move the search bar up. I'll probably give it a sized box just below this expanded widget of height probably 30. I'm sorry, just below the container. Okay. Now we have to create a white space here with all the tutors widget like in the design, so we'll add an expanded widget here. And then we'll have a padding. See, we have a padding throughout the container, so we'll write a padding of 30, and the width has to be the same as the document size. And the color has to be white. Okay. Now we'll have a column widget which will hold all the tutors widget. So first we'll have a row which will have top rated tutors and see all in place. I'm sorry. Now we'll style that. And let's give it a font weight of 600. Okay, that looks good. Now we add another text which should say see all. And the color has to be blue, and the size should be smaller. Now we need to move this on this side, so let us add an alignment, space between. Okay. Now we may have a lot of tutors here, so let us add this this widget into a single child scroll view and then a column. So let us first add an expanded widget just below the row, and then let's add the child as single child scroll view, and then let's add a column as the child of single child scroll view. Now here we can have any number of rows which will again be scrollable because it is inside the single child scroll view. Let's create a tutor widget. So the boy1.png is the name of the image, and name of the tutor, and the subject, grade, and fees per session. Let's create a widget here. Now this needs to be clickable, so I'm just returning an inkwell here. The first argument will be the image, so I'll give it an image. Second is the name. Third is the subject. Fourth is the grade. Is the cost, I'll give it as a price. Now this will return an inkwell widget. Alright. Now first, considering this widget, we'll need a row. Inside the row we'll have a stack which will have the BG element, the background element, a rotated star, the image of this avatar, and the star rating here. So we'll create this first and then we'll link it in this part. Now to start with that, let's first create the container, the whole container, this one. So because I've given an inkwell, I'll just write an open on tab. Now we'll have a container. We'll have a small margin on top. And I'll give it a height of 130. Now it has a rounded rectangle, so I'll give it a border radius. Of 30, and then its color can be light blue, probably with some opacity. 0.5. Okay, we have the container here. Now we'll add a child as row, which will hold all the widgets in place. Now first let us create a container. This will hold the stack. Now since I'm going to import an image that will have that we got. Oh yeah, I can show you that. Just a second, please. Now we'll import the background image and have a height of 120 and a width of 150. Now decoration, box decoration, image, decoration image, asset image. I have an icon VG here. And if you can see that we have a sharp edge here, I want to clip that, so I'll add a clip rectangle, right? Now I'll add a border radius here, only on the top left part. Again, it should be 30. Now we have that flip. Now, if you can see, it has a small space here, so we'll just fit it properly. Fit box fit dot contain. Now below the clip or rect widget, we create another container. This would hold the star and the character. So that's again going to be a stack. I want a little bit of padding on the left and top part, so I'll write as left and top 5. This child is going to be a stack again. First, let's create a container for the star. And the star has to be rotated, so I'll add a rotated box widget. Turn should be 180 degrees, so I'll add a quarter turn of 2. Now let's add a icon widget. Now if you notice, the star is inverted, and let us add a color of dark blue and size to be a little bit bigger, so I'll add the size as 60. Okay, now that looks good. Now we'll add the star rating here on top of that container. Again, the same width and height of the star, and then we create a center widget. This center widget will hold the text which says the rating. that is the center. Style, size should be a little bit smaller, and then font weight to be 700 and color to be white. Okay. Now once this part is done, we'll import the character here, or the avatar. For that we'll have to import the avatar on the outer stack widget. It needs some space for the star here, so I'm adding a left of probably 50 points, and then let's add a container of width, let's say 100, and height 130, decoration, box decoration, image, decoration image, set image. Now we already have the image name as a parameter here, so let's add the remaining part. I'm sorry. Now let's add a fit here. Okay, good. So this part is done. Now we'll add the grade, name, subject, and the session per cost per session area. Now in the same, it has to be in the same row. So I'm just writing it after the whole container is complete. We need an expanded widget. And have a container widget inside that with some padding. Now we create a column. In the column, everything has to start from the left side, so I'll write cross-axis alignment, start, children. Now since this grade has been moved to the right side, we'll add a row and then have the main axis alignment of the row as end. So we'll write main axis alignment, end. Now we'll have a container, and then probably we can write the child text grade. Now we already have the grade as a param, so grade now this is right aligned. Now let us style that. Just gray in color. Okay, now that looks good. We'll add the name of the teacher. I have small spacing here. We have the name of tutor here. Okay, now style, text style. So now we need to add the subject. The subject says English teacher. Now, its color was dark blue. But now, considering this part alone, it is centered from the English teacher to the end of this widget. So we'll create an expanded widget and then we'll center this text in that area. Expanded. The problem of writing a center widget here would be that if I create a center widget of an expanded widget, now I'll have the text displayed here, but still I want it to be on the left side. So I can either create a column or a row to make it on the left. I prefer to create a column. And then its main axis alignment to be center, and then you create the child. Now that's price per session. Good. And now let's style that. Good. This is the image. This is the name of the tutor. This is the subject. This is the grade. Again, that's the image. Subject, grade, and the fee per session. If you can notice, it's scrollable, so we can have any number of tutor widget here. Now for example, if I want to click this widget and then see details about every tutor here. So I'll write on tab, open teacher page. Let's create a function. Open teacher page. Now we'll write the about. I'll create a new document as teacher page. Let's import material dot. Now let's create a stateful widget, and then let's import this teacher page here. Good. Now I'm able to navigate to the new page. Again, I'll import the color schemes. Now let's go to the last. And here we have an area with that looks similar to the widget here. We have a container with the background image, and then the tutor's image here, name, teacher subject, and their star rating with experience. And then over here we have some text. This is going to be a scrollable area, and the availability now, and the time slot widget and a button. So we'll first try and make this. This has to be a row, and this will be in an expanded widget with a column, and this one will be scroll view again. Okay, let's try and make this part first. Scaffold. Color again should be I've added this color just because the image, the background image of this widget is similar to the light blue color that we specified in the color scheme. So I just added a new color here. Okay, now we have column widget. In that we'll have a row which will hold the avatar and the name of teacher, subject, etc. So we'll create a row first. And then I create a container which will hold the background image and the avatar. That's the container here with 200 and hello. Let's create a stack, and then height 240, decoration, box decoration, image, decoration image. Let's import the background of icon. Now let's add the avatar image. Again I'll add a position widget. This time I'll position it to the bottom part. I'll give a small space on the left side, and then let's add a container. Now we'll look into adding these widgets on the right side. I'll create an expanded widget. We'll add a padding. All widget has to start from the left side, so I'm giving the alignment to be cross alignment at start. Let's add the name of the tutor here. Needs to be bolder, so I'm giving it a font weight of 700 and font family to be product. We need some space just below the name, so I'll give it a sized box of height 5. Style the subject. Color is dark blue, and font family can be Cersei. Again we need some space. I'll add a sized box of height 15. Now we need to create this widget here, which will have a star, an inverted star, and the rating as a text. So I'll create a row, and then container of height and width 20. Again has to be a rotated box with turns of 2, and child can be an icon. Color to be dark blue. Now we'll add the text here. We need some space, so I'm adding a sized box of width. style this 4.9 star rating. Now we'll create the next row. Next row would be the same as this part. Instead of a rotated box here, we'll import an image for the palette. So I'll write as decoration, box decoration, image, decoration image. Now we have the palette, and we'll write here the number of years of experience. Now we'll have an expanded widget that will hold all these widgets in place. I'll give it a padding of 30 and color as white. We'll create all these widgets into a scrollable part. So I'll write a single child scroll view. And I'll give a column message child. All the widgets start from the left side, so I'm giving it a cross-axis alignment of start. The first text says about Peter. Okay, now we'll add a space below this title. I'll give it a height of 10, and then again we'll have a description text here. And then below that we'll have another title. I'll add a space. Now this time it has to be greater than the previous space left. We'll add the second title. It should say courses by Peter. Now below that we have a scrollable area. So I'll first create a container of height 100 and width to be the same as that of the device. And then I'll add a single child scroll view. Now the direction of the scroll has to be horizontal. We'll add a row, and then in this we'll create the course widget. We'll have the image and then the title, the grade, the color of the region. It has to be blue, yellow and pink. And then the color of the text that is written inside. We'll create this widget. The first parameter is the image. Second parameter would be the name, the title. Third one would be the grade. Fourth one would be the PG color. The last one would be the text color. Give it a height of 100. Let's add a margin to the right. I'll add a border radius of 20. The color should be the same as received as a parameter. We'll add a row which would hold all the other widgets. If you notice that this part and the image has been spaced equally, so has been spaced to the side, so I'll add the space between widget. Space between. Now we have the title. Let's style that. Color should be the text color. font size should be bigger and font weight should be broader. Now just below this text widget we'll write the grade. Has to be in gray in color and smaller in size. Okay. Now let's add the image. Again I'll add a container of height 90 with 70 decoration, box decoration, image, decoration image. Now let's add the other widgets also. Icon 2, icon 3, and the title for the second one was Creative Bloomers. The third one is Early Achievers. Grade to be 10203. It's yellow and pink. Yellow, pink. Now we'll change the text color. Okay. Now below this we'll add the availability slot. Like before, we'll add a space of height 20. And then we'll write availability. Again we'll have a space of 10. Now just below this we have to create a row which will hold today's date and 7 days from today. So for that, let us create a string. We'll have 7 widgets, so I'm creating a for loop. Now here we'll create a date widget. So we'll have a parameter of int, that is the I value. I'll create a temporary date and then add a duration with days received as parameter. So I'll days as I. I'll give it a margin of 2 and height 60. The width has to be divided amongst 7 different containers, so I'll write we'll create a container to hold the day and the date. I'll give it a vertical padding of 10 and a horizontal padding of 10 also. And then it will hold a column. The column has to be centered. This will hold 2 texts. One is the day, say for example Sunday, let us style this. And below the day we have to write the current date. So that should be temp date dot day. I'll style this. It has to be bigger in size. And broader also. Now, since the selected date has to be in yellow and the other date should be of normal color, we'll write it as selected date equals temp date dot day, then it has to be yellow, or else it has to be light blue with an opacity of 0.5. Now let us define selected date. See, now it has changed. Now we also have to specify the day. Now it is all written as Sunday. For that, we'll have to create a new function which will return the current day, receiving the parameter as weekday. We'll return the day string of weekday value. Now instead of Sunday, we'll write day value of temp date dot weekday. I will receive it as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on. Now below the availability widget, we have the time slot widget also, and for that I'll give it a space of 10 again. And then let's create a container which will hold a column child. Now we'll create a time slot widget. And its current selected state. Now we'll retain a container. We'll give it a padding of horizontal value of 12 and vertical 15. We also give it a margin for the sides and for the vertical axis. It needs to be a rounded bottom, rounded corners, so I'll give it a border radius. Now the color has to be pink if it is selected and light blue if it is not selected. We'll add a child. The child will have an icon and then size will be 13. Color will be gray in color. And then let's add a small space. Now we'll add the time here. Now we'll have 4 different widgets here in this area. So I'll take a copy of this. Now this needs to be inside a row widget. And again I'll take a copy of this widget. Okay. Now we'll create this make an appointment button. Let's create a container. This container has to be of white color. The width should be same as that of the device. Let's give it a padding of 15 on all sides. Let's also give it a margin on the left, right and the bottom. Let's add a border radius of 10, and the color should be dark blue. Let's add a child. It can be a center widget, and then let's add the text widget here saying make an appointment. Color should be white. Font family again should be Cersei. And a bigger font size. Now, just to make sure that this is responsive, I add a few more rows for the time, so you can see that this can be scrolled. I'll get rid of these row columns that has been added. I'll add a back button so you can go back to the previous page. So we'll have a app bar. Again, the color has to be transparent and the elevation to be 0. Now you see that a space has been taken by the app bar, so we'll try and remove that. In this I'll add an on pressed tag. We'll add a hero tag for this character. So in this container I'll add a new widget. And again here we'll add a hero tag. Yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for watching.